from thousands they came to 56. At the end, from thousands they came to, at the end 56. Then they discussed that which one should be inside and should be out. Then they discussed for months actually. That at the end they picked only 4 of them. 52 were discarded, and they are called apocryphal. They exist too.
That is done about 300 years after the Christ was gone.
Yeah, the canonization was done in 325, 337 AD. You understand canonization?
Not really.
Canonization means there were thousands of scriptures.
Yeah,
They came to 56 to 4. Canonization means to get it, checked up. Which should be in, which should be out. This is what canonization means, to get it checked, which should be to be inside the Bible and which should be out. This is what they did in 327 and 325 at Council of Nicaea and Catholics. There are 2 places.
During all these 300 years, the Christianity was being preached by some people, those who were out of the caves.
Very limited.
But they were still being preached, and even though not much success. And
Because they were being persecuted.
And then once this emperor became Christian, then the whole tide turned. I think that's clear.
Plus, there's a big disaster when, Titus of Rome, the king of Rome, whose name was Titus, who attacked on Jerusalem and destroyed everything. And he killed hundreds of thousands of Jews, and of course he destroyed all the scriptures. They were burnt. Because he thought, these Jews are troublemakers. Then, he put a restriction on them, that none of them is permitted to enter into Jerusalem.
And what year was that?
70 AD.
70, 80 before Christ?
40 years
after
after
Christ.
40 years after Jesus. He
40
was
years.
crucified in 30 AD. So it is like 40 years.
The Jews are being punished basically because what they did to Christ.
Well, yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, because
They have to pay the price too.
Yeah.
They have
Really
to
got
pay. They have to pay. Right. That's why the promise which Allah has made with the Jews, that they will have that land, was postponed. They demanded, not verbally but inwardly, that if you are the Messiah, why we are under slavery? Moses came, right, and they got the freedom. They got the land, the promised land, maybe at the time of Joshua, but at least they got something. He said, if you are the Mashiach or Messiah, why we are under the slavery? Why don't you take a sword and kill them all, throw them out? He said, no, let's talk about peace. He said, we don't need any peace. Just like the Messiah today. The promised is talking peace, right? All others, they want a person who should be taking the sword and, killing all infidels. So that was the demand at the time of Messiah, of course, at the time of Jesus too. That's why Jesus said, you have not gone through the cities of Israel before the Son of Man comes. So this promise was postponed to the second coming of Messiah. He said, when the second coming of Messiah will take place, right, then the Jews will be able to enter into the cities of Israel. And he said that state will be called Israel. And they have gone through the cities of Israel. Not they will conquer it. They will be sent to that area. You have not gone. He was addressing the Jews. You have not gone. He said, I surely say to you, you have not gone through the cities of Israel before the Son of Man comes. So when the first Son of Man will come, Son of Man is the title of the Messiah. Then you will be able to go into the cities of Israel.
In Bible, so many places Son of Man is mentioned. When he's about him, comments are made, ayat, everything. Then how it become Son of Man is on any righteous person is mentioned as Son of Man. How does it become a special person, become a Son of God?
Ask the Christian. Don't ask me.
It says in the Bible, frankly, I saw it 2 days ago.
No, but there must be some background why they picked that person in particular, that he is the Son of God and the rest of it. Even though he's saying 10, 15 places I've read, when he says Son of Man.
It's 83.
83
places?
times, 83 times in 4 Gospels, the word Son of Man is used.
Yeah.
Why he used so repeatedly? only 4 times or 3 times only in book of John he said, I am Son of God. Right? That is metaphorically, not in the literally or physically. Can be. Now why he was saying repeatedly Son of Man? Because people were accusing him that he claimed to be a Son of God physically. That's why he picked that title, Son of Man. I am human being. That's why there was a need for him to declare what he stands for. That's why he was repeatedly saying that I am Son of Man, rather than saying Son of God.
This is one thing comes to mind when he says Son of Man. Then, as we know and the Christians know that no man touched his mother. So how he becomes Son of Man?
We had one debate in California at Lake Avenue Church in Pasadena. I had the same question which you are asking me now. I said, sir, tell me, 83 times he says I'm Son of Man. Only 3 or 4 times he called himself Son of God, and only in book of John. First 3 books are totally silent. Would you please tell me why he calls himself Son of Man when he had no father? He can call himself Son of Women, or he should call himself Son of God. Why he calls himself Son of Man? And so repeatedly, 83 times. I gave them the example like I'm Imam. Everybody knows I'm the Imam of the mosque. There's no need for me to say repeatedly, I'm Imam, until unless there is some confusion. That's why he wanted to remove that confusion. So would you please tell me, to me, it means that he wanted to let us know that he is a human being, son of a man, although he was son of a woman or son of God, according to their belief. And he just stepped out. He said, I'm sorry, I'm getting late, another meeting I have. So he just left, there were 200 plus people sitting there. And they said, wow, he's gone. And all Christians were so embarrassed, you can imagine. You know, we had the dinner, of course, that was arranged by the Christians actually. And everybody says, oh my God, the priest ran away, man. You asked him a very hard question. I said, that's the main dispute we have it. Whether he's a son of man, whether he's a son of God. And that was the topic actually, which we were discussing on that day. So they have no answer to it.
Did you ever ask anybody else later on about this?
Several times, 100 times.
And no answer ever?
They cannot. All they say, yes, when he was in this world, he came as a human being. But he was a God too.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I was talking to gentleman.
He said that kind of claim anybody can make it. I will say, yes, I am God too. Here I am man, but actually I am a God. Anybody can claim. Except he has to show something that he is really a God. What he did actually, looking at all his situation, he was a very humble person, down to the ground. Think about it, the enemies are spitting on him, kicking him, scourging him, all kind of persecution is being done. If he is a God, do you believe that God can be disgraced in that way? It can't. So it was not true. Yes.
Like, I just want to say, he's the term Son of God. It's like God with a lowercase g, and some different nationalities I know say like we have brothers and sisters, kings and queens, God and goddesses. Like they you said them words liberally. Is that the same way for Jesus?
This lower case and upper case is only in English. You understand, right? This is what they actually intentionally did it. The previous scriptures were in Greek or Latin. I don't think there is any concept of lower case and upper case. First. The first translation was made of the Bible was in 1611. Right? So almost 1600 there was no translation available in English. You understand? So we don't know what the situation is. The first translation of the Bible was done by King James, and we have King James version. That's the first English translation we ever had. So they have this is what they did. The lower case and upper case. We don't know actually what the reality is. All we understand, Jesus never ever claimed to be a God, never ever claimed to be a son of God physically, of course. Once I challenge, bring one verse of the Bible where Jesus says, I am God and worship me. Two things. I am God and worship me. If he is one of the three, he should have said, I am God, right?
Yeah, he would say that.
And he should say, worship me too. He never said it. And believe me, they were looking at all these like Bibles and they could not find even one single verse. This is what the promise actually challenged. That Jesus never ever said that he is God. Son of God is a metaphorically, and he is not the only. There are more than 11 prophets are mentioned as sons of God. Right? So he is not the first. Even about Moses, it's mentioned in book of Deuteronomy. God says,